in Stoic Men Tribe. Today we're tapping into a powerful truth, a moment of inner strength, sharp clarity and timeless wisdom. Don't skip any part of this video, share your thoughts in the comment. Please do us a favor by hitting the subscribe button, like and turn on notifications, so you never miss an update. Let's break it down, the power of positive thinking. There's a quiet force within you, often overlooked, often underestimated. It doesn't make headlines, it doesn't demand attention, but it's always there, shaping everything. It's more powerful than your circumstances, more influential than your past, more transformative than even the passage of time itself. It's not something you can hold in your hands, but you carry it with you everywhere. Every moment, every breath, every thought. This force, it's not magic. It's not some fluffy, feel-good concept detached from reality. It's not about plastering a smile over the truth or denying your emotions. It doesn't mean ignoring their struggle. It means choosing your response to it. It's not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about believing that no matter how imperfect things may seem, they can still move toward purpose. It's not blind optimism. It's conscious perception. It's the decision to meet life with eyes wide open and still say, there's more for me than what I see right now. This is the power of positive thinking. It's not a one-time revelation. It's a daily practice, a commitment to shift your focus from limitation to possibility, from survival to growth, from fear to faith. You see, your thoughts are not just background noise. They are the architects of your inner world. They lay the foundation for how you show up in the outer one. Every belief you hold begins with a thought. Every habit you reinforce, every action you take, they all trace back to that inner dialogue. And if that dialogue is filled with doubt, with defeat, with rehearsed narratives of "I can't," and "this is just how life is," then don't be surprised when your life begins to reflect that story back to you. But when you begin to change that internal script, when you choose to think in alignment with hope, purpose, courage, and vision, something radical begins to happen. You start walking differently. You speak with more clarity. You stand a little taller. Not out of ego, but out of alignment with your inner worth. Because you're no longer waiting for the world to tell you who you are. You already know. And you're choosing to build your life from that knowing. Brick by brick, thought by thought. So no, this isn't about ignoring reality. It's about choosing which version of reality you're going to feed. Are you going to dwell in the version where nothing ever works out? Where you're always the victim? Where joy is temporary and suffering is permanent? Or are you going to rise day after day and say, maybe today is the day something shifts? Maybe this obstacle is here to build me, not break me. Maybe I'm capable of more than I've been taught to believe. Because you are. You were never meant to be trapped by fear or boxed in by doubt. You were born with the power to think yourself free. Not by escaping life's storms, but by learning how to walk through them with peace in your heart and power in your mind. So guard your thoughts like treasure. Not because thinking positive makes life perfect, but because it makes you stronger, calmer, more creative, more resilient. And when you become that version of yourself, the world around you begins to respond. Your life will always rise to the level of your mindset. So raise it, feed it, strengthen it, and watch what happens when you finally begin to think in alignment with your own possibility. That is the power of positive thinking. And once you tap into it, you'll never go back. A negative mind cannot build a positive life. A negative mind, it doesn't just see problems, it becomes them. It becomes a collector of pain, a magnifier of fear, a master of worst-case scenarios. It assumes betrayal before trust is even tested. It expects failure before the effort is even made. It prepares for disappointment so thoroughly that it leaves no room for hope to breathe. You see, a negative mind is a thief, not just of joy, but of potential. It robs you of peace before anything even happens. It poisons your present with predictions of a future that doesn't even exist. It convinces you that protection lies in pessimism, that expecting less is smarter than believing in more. But that kind of mindset doesn't shield you. It shrinks you. It builds walls so high around your heart that nothing new can enter. No light, no growth, no real connection. Just the echo chamber of your own fears, bouncing off the inside of a mind trained to expect the worst. Now contrast that with the power of a positive mind. A positive mind isn't naive. It isn't blind to reality. It's not about pretending that suffering doesn't exist or forcing smiles when the soul is aching. No. A positive mind is disciplined. It's strong. It's forged through fire and chosen again and again in the face of darkness. A positive mind is a warrior dressed in hope. It sees challenge and looks for the lesson. It sees pain and searches for the wisdom. It sees chaos and centers itself in stillness. It doesn't deny the existence of the storm, but it trusts that the storm won't last forever. It knows that even when everything feels uncertain, something sacred is still unfolding. A positive mind says, I don't know how this ends, but I know who I am in the middle of it. I don't know what will happen, but I know I won't betray myself in fear. Because a positive mind isn't just about outlook, it's about identity. It is the decision to no longer define yourself by what went wrong, to no longer be owned by the voice that says, this is just how it is, to stop carrying the weight of old disappointments into new beginnings. It understands something crucial. That growth is invisible before it becomes undeniable. That roots deepen before the tree rises. That healing happens in silence before it's seen in the mirror. That the breakthrough often begins on the day everything felt like it was falling apart. A positive mind whispers when fear screams. It says, there's more than this. There's something beyond the pain. There's strength you haven't met yet. And no, it's not always easy. Positive thinking is not some magical shield that blocks pain. It's a choice you make within the pain. It's the decision to respond to life, not just react to it. It's the daily act of remembering that you still have power, even when you feel powerless. It's not about faking it. It's about faithing it. It's about knowing that your thoughts shape your feelings. Your feelings shape your actions, and your actions build the life you live. So if your mind is a garden, what are you planting? Seeds of fear or seeds of faith? Roots of resentment or roots of resilience? Are you nurturing thoughts that starve you or ones that sustain you? Because here's the truth. Your mind is always listening. Every word you speak to yourself becomes a command. Every belief you rehearse becomes a blueprint. And every thought, every single thought, is a brushstroke on the canvas of your future. So guard that canvas. Speak life into your spirit. Hold space for possibility, even when pain has tried to convince you it's gone. Keep your mind aligned with what you want to grow, not with what you fear might happen. Because a negative mind can't give birth to a joyful life. It can't recognize love when it walks in. It can't accept opportunity when it knocks. It can't hold peace because it's too busy preparing for war. But a positive mind? That's the soil where miracles take root. That's where courage is born. That's where your soul gets stronger. Not because life is easy, but because you've trained your mind to rise anyway. So choose the thoughts that nourish you. Choose the ones that believe in you. Choose the ones that move you toward your higher self, not the ones that drag you back into fear. Because your mind is not a prison, it's a portal. And what you think becomes the path you walk. It's not about wearing a fake smile like armor. It's not about pretending you're okay when you're breaking on the inside. It's not about turning your face to the sun while ignoring the storm within. No, it's something far more courageous than that. It's about standing in the truth of your pain and still choosing power. It's about saying, yes, this hurts. Yes, this is heavy. But no, it will not destroy me. This isn't where I fall apart. This is where I rise aware. This isn't the end of my path. It's the beginning of a deeper understanding. You see, positive thinking isn't denial. It's direction. It's not about escaping the hard stuff. It's about walking through it with eyes that can still see the light at the edge of the dark. It's about acknowledging the weight and still choosing to carry your soul forward. It's about training your mind to say, I don't have control over everything, but I do have a say in who I become through this. Because the thoughts you nurture become the life you manifest. They shape how you feel, how you heal, how you respond, how you rebuild. Every single moment is a crossroads, a chance to choose faith over fear, hope over helplessness, courage over collapse. And every time you pause, every time you catch yourself drifting into doubt and gently redirect toward gratitude, you're rewiring your own mind. You're shifting from being a prisoner of circumstance to the architect of your perspective. You're telling your nervous system, we are safe to hope. We are safe to grow. We are safe to believe in better. Because each time you choose to say, this isn't the end, it's the middle of my rising, you reclaim power. You rescue your peace from the jaws of despair. You take the pen back from fear and start writing a different ending. Positive thinking isn't naive. It's a spiritual discipline. It's looking at what's broken and still saying, there's beauty in here. There's meaning here. There's something worth building again. It trains your mind to bend, not break, to see that every closed door is not a rejection, but a redirection. That every delay isn't a denial, but a divine recalibration. That every loss has the potential to plant seeds of deeper life, if you allow yourself to look past the pain. It's the voice inside that rises when everything outside is falling. It says, you are not helpless, you are healing. You are not hopeless, you are evolving. You are not stuck, you are simply being reshaped by resistance, because you're not here to collapse under the weight of life. You're here to become more alive because of it. And when you start thinking that way, when you reframe your trials as training, when you stop waiting for ease and start extracting wisdom, that's when your mind becomes a sanctuary, not a battlefield. That's when your heart becomes a compass, not a cage. So no, it's not about faking a smile for the world. It's about fiercely protecting your inner world until your light becomes unshakable. It's about learning to trust the slow miracle of your own transformation. Because when your mind shifts, your whole life begins to follow. And yes, people will misunderstand you. They'll scoff at your optimism like it's some kind of weakness. They'll label your hopefulness as naive, call your dreams unrealistic, and look at your joy like it's a threat. Because for some, living in the dark is familiar, and anything that shines too brightly exposes what they've buried. They'll say, come back down to reality. But what they really mean is, come back down to fear with me. Come back to the place where we numb instead of heal, where we doubt instead of believe, where we shrink instead of rise. And you'll feel it, that pull, that subtle gravity of conformity, of compromise, of going along to get along. But you must resist it. You must stay lit. You must stay loyal to your light, even when it flickers, even when the night grows long. You must guard your flame like it's sacred, because it is. You must keep showing up for the vision of your life that only your soul fully understands, even if no one else sees it yet. You have to trust that the voice within you, the one that whispers, there is more, keep going, knows something the world can't yet see. Because when your thoughts begin to shift, your entire life begins to follow. It doesn't happen all at once. It doesn't come with confetti or a crowd cheering you on. It's quiet, like a tree growing its roots deeper into the soil, like the slow unfolding of dawn after a long starless night. You begin to walk differently, with purpose in your step, even if the path is still foggy, with the kind of stillness that comes from no longer needing external validation to define your worth. You speak differently too, not louder, but clearer. Not to impress, but to express something real. Your words become fewer, but heavier, carrying truth instead of trying to carry approval. You begin to love yourself differently, not with conditions, not only when you win, but with a kind of fierce tenderness that says, even when I fall, I am still worthy. Even when I'm in progress, I'm still enough. And eventually, something beautiful happens. You stop surviving. You stop merely making it through the day, pretending to be okay. You stop living on autopilot, stuck in loops of old wounds and old ways. You start living, fully, consciously, gratefully. You begin to notice the little things again. The way sunlight dances on your skin, the sound of laughter echoing through an open window, the stillness between breaths. You find beauty in simplicity. You find peace in your own presence. And that's the quiet power of positive thinking. Not a gimmick, not a trick, not a way to pretend pain doesn't exist, but a daily, deliberate choice to keep choosing light, even when darkness would be easier, even when silence would be safer, even when fear tells you to stop. You keep choosing light, not because you're trying to escape life, but because you finally decided to live it on your terms. And that, right there, that's when everything begins to change. This is the true power of positive thinking. And let's be clear, it's not a luxury for the privileged. It's not some soft, fluffy trend tossed around in self-help circles to sound enlightened. It's not a feel-good phrase meant to ignore reality or bypass pain. It's not pretending the world is perfect when it's clearly not. And it's definitely not wishful thinking that waits for miracles without moving your feet. No. It's something far more sacred than that. Far more demanding. Far more transformative. Positive thinking is a discipline, a daily practice, a conscious decision to meet life, even its chaos, one with clarity, to face fear and choose faith, to experience pain and still believe in purpose, to feel disappointment and still say, I am not done yet. It is a way of reprogramming your mind. Not to lie to yourself, but to liberate yourself. It is a rebellion against the inner critic, a resistance to the voice that tells you you're not enough, that it's too late, that you'll never rise again. It is the act of staring down your lowest moments and choosing over and over to say, this will not define me. This is not the end of my story. Because positive thinking doesn't deny reality. It rewrites your relationship with it. It doesn't ignore pain. It gives pain a purpose. It doesn't run from the storm. It teaches you how to walk through it with your head held high and your heart intact. This mindset is not a trick. It's not hype. It's not some dopamine hit from motivational quotes. It is work. It is sweat. It is showing up for yourself on the days when no one else does. It's waking up to doubt, to struggle, to fear, and still choosing to say, I will not bow to this. I still believe there's something in me that the darkness cannot kill. Because that's the thing. Your thoughts shape your reality. Not overnight, but over time. They influence how you see, how you act, how you show up, how you love, how you lead. And eventually, they shape who you become. So no, this isn't just a mindset. This is your foundation, your fortress, your compass when the road disappears. It's the inner fire that says, even if I'm exhausted, I still have breath. Even if I'm not where I want to be, I'm not where I used to be. Even if life knocks me down, I will rise stronger, wiser, and more aware than before. Because every time you choose to speak life into your day instead of dread, every time you find gratitude in the storm, every time you refuse to let fear narrate your future, you are training your mind. You are shifting your frequency. You are turning chaos into clarity and wounds into wisdom. This is not magic. This is mastery. And like anything that matters, it takes repetition. It takes belief. It takes courage. So yes, train your mind like your life depends on it. Because it does. Your future self is shaped by the thoughts you're thinking today. Your peace is sculpted by the inner conversations you have when no one else is watching. Your legacy, the life you leave behind, is being written in the silence of your own beliefs. And if you can master that, if you can choose to think in alignment with your higher self, not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard, then nothing and no one can take away the peace, power, and purpose you've built within. This is the true power of positive thinking. And let's be clear, it's not a luxury for the privileged. It's not some soft, fluffy trend tossed around in self-help circles to sound enlightened. It's not a feel-good phrase meant to ignore reality or bypass pain. It's not pretending the world is perfect when it's clearly not. And it's definitely not wishful thinking that waits for miracles without moving your feet. No. It's something far more sacred than that. Far more demanding. Far more transformative. Positive thinking is a discipline, a daily practice, a conscious decision to meet life, even its chaos, with clarity, to face fear and choose faith, to experience pain and still believe in purpose, to feel disappointment and still say, I am not done yet. It is a way of reprogramming your mind, not to lie to yourself, but to liberate yourself. It is a rebellion against the inner critic, a resistance to the voice that tells you you're not enough, that it's too late, that you'll never rise again. It is the act of staring down your lowest moments and choosing over and over to say, this will not define me. This is not the end of my story. If this resonates with you, share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update.